Bergkamp. Perez. Wilco makes a run ahead of him. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabby's ass totally stranded.
Hello and welcome to Bergkamp Wonderland, the podcast where you've accidentally sent it live on Twitch where nobody watches, rather than Twitter where lots of people watch. That's the kind of button monkey I am. Anyway, welcome to the show, and with me tonight I've got two sparkling gooners. First of all, it's got Craig. How you doing, Treacle?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I am stuffing my face full of meat and frantically thinking, how once the show has started, do I add, I think I'll go here, and then save changes. And then, like magic, it should just turn up on Twitter, as if I hadn't fucked it up in the first place. and also with tonight is Melvyn, he's just told us how old he is, and I can't believe it. I don't know what you've been drinking, Melvyn, but I'll have 2 pints of it.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, wait for this all day. Can't wait to get started.
Because last week I had to let you down and I couldn't do it because I'd been on the raw meats again. Not raw. I'd been on something. I think I'd overdone the pork scratchings. That's the only nice thing I'm allowed on my diet is pork scratchings. So I bought 48 bags of them. And I usually get through a couple of bags a day, munching around like some kind of beast. So this, I wasn't sure where to start with this, but we're on a bit of a good run at the moment, Craig, aren't we? And it's a good time to be a goon. And like it says underneath my name, it says, where are the Arteta out now? So where have they gone?
Well, of course. No. If it's no bad results, then they're not around, are they? Or if they are around, they're trying to regurgitate what they've been saying to make themselves look positive. But no, it's you're dead right, mate. The form is good. It's a real good time to be an Arsenal fan at the moment. Perhaps they should go to Dubai every other weekend or something like that, because obviously it seems that they've gone to Dubai, they've regrouped, the managers, they've regrouped, the manager has, told them what he wants for the rest of the season. It looks like it's something that they needed to do. And I think it's very important that professional football clubs do that kind of thing. Last season we were great, and I think that little bit of inconsistency crept in. Thinking that they were perhaps better than they were, few poor results. So the manager whipped them off and got them into shape again. Since we've come back from Dubai, we've won every game. And Sunday, I was expecting a tough one. And to be sitting there 4-0 up at half time and watching West Ham fans walk out of the ground going home, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that in all the years I've been watching football. There you are. Look, there it is. That. I mean, I know someone told me, I have a West Ham supporting friend who actually informed me that big cluster are outside bars where you can go and have a fag. So he said, forget about that bit. He said, but all those people walking across the bridges are people going home.
I don't know who did the Odegaard one.
It was very good. It's very good. But, sitting there watching them go 4-0 up, I was expecting a real tough game against West Ham. The last 2 times we played them, they give us a hell of a game. But to walk into their stadium and be 4-0 up at half time. And it wasn't even the result. It was just the way we were playing. I still can't fathom whether it was because we were so good.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it,
or West Ham was so bad?
Which would you put it down to?
I'd like to say it was because we were so good. Every pass hit its target. Everything we hit went in the back of the net. The set pieces were on point. The passing was on point. The shooting was on point. Everything just came together, and to come away with a 6-0 win, West Ham away, I believe it's their heaviest defeat since 1961, or our biggest win away since 1961. Either or, I can't remember where
I
I read
had
that.
a few sevens under Wenger, like Everton and I think Middlesbrough, but they were both at home.
Yeah, I think it might be that they have not been beaten at home 6-0 in 60 or something like that. So yeah, mate. Look, it's a great time to be an Arsenal fan at the moment. I mean, and then to rub it all in, just to rub some extra salt in the wound, Declan Rice goes and scores a 30-yarder. So I mean, you can't. I actually felt sorry for him a little bit. I think West Ham. I did. I watched a few of their West Ham TV interviews after the game, and I actually felt a bit sorry for him. But look, 6-0, what a result! We're back in the title. We're back in the title race. We needed to win. Burnley away now at the weekend. Again, the Liverpool result meant nothing if we don't beat West Ham. The Burnley result wouldn't mean nothing. The West Ham result will win nothing if we don't beat Burnley.
And that's true. Melvyn, how did you feel about it all? Because it was quite for me, it was quite an unexpected result because, like Craig said, they beat us and knocked us out of the FA Cup. They beat us in the league quite convincingly, and I think they were thinking, we're going to beat the Arsenal 3 times in a season, but it didn't turn out that way, did it?
No, they I think expected to do a smash and grab on us like they did at the Emirates. Sit back.
Were you there yesterday?
No.
I mean, were you there on Sunday?
I don't go to away games anymore. I used to. I don't go. Just home games. All the home games. I think they just expected that to happen again. We mugged them. Let's mug them again. Perhaps they haven't learned. I think what Craig says about Dubai, the difference is this season we've got our bad bit at the middle of the season where we do something about it. When it happened last season, at the end of the season, you can't do anything about it. It's too late. It's all happened. So I think that was in our favour. And also about the people leaving the ground. I mean, we played, I think it was this season, we had a few supporters leaving 5-10 minutes to go. We got slaughtered. There was photographs everywhere of Arsenal supporters leaving the ground. I think we might have been 2 goals behind. Could it have been Liverpool in the Cup? I can't remember. But it's like double standards. But some of the football we played, just saying, were we good or were they bad? I don't think that if West Ham played like that on Sunday against most other teams, they would get beat 6-0. Honestly, I don't. They would have probably got beaten, but they wouldn't have got beat smashed like that because we were at it and they weren't by the extremes, and it worked for us. I mean, some of the football we played was out. They were just looking at us. They were playing in treacle. It looked like compared to us. It was wonderful to see. And I was watching a game with my son-in-law on Sunday, and I was saying to him when the third one went in, I was worried. I went, no. Do not let a goal in now in the last couple of minutes before half time. Please, I've been here before, done it, got the T-shirt. Just blow the whistle, ref, please. And as I said, blow the whistle, we scored another one. I mean, what's going on? It was lovely, delightful. And, I don't know. I couldn't see from what I was from watching the telly whether the crowd gave Rice a standing ovation or they were booing him. So I'm not sure. I mean, perhaps you can enlighten me on that. I don't know because he sets himself standards and then sets new standards every other week. I mean, I think the FBI might be called in about that deal we did with them. It might be a bit of fraud going on there, what we paid for that player, I think. But it was fantastic to watch. It was when a type of game, and after probably about 40 minutes, you could nearly, or most certainly half time, take out a cigar and have a drink, watching the Arsenal, which is not very easy to do normally. And it was beautiful to watch. And I suppose a lot of the pundits said that West Ham were and all that and having to go at the manager and blah. Didn't actually say some of the foot. You've still got to hit that ball at the right speed to the right player at the right time. And we did that so much. It was terrific. And I think all this about giving players out of 10. There's a player I thought only deserved 1 out of 10 on Sunday, and that's the goalkeeper. Didn't do anything, did he? He should get marked down. I mean, he was a disgrace, really. He hardly did anything. But no, I mean, it was great to watch. Really enjoyed it. And we got a big smile on our face watching the Arsenal. How bad's that?
That is, after some of the results we've had this season, that is quite surprising because I said to Soph, she's messaged her the other night, about 8 a.m, hadn't gone to sleep yet. And I said, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. I don't. And she went, well, I was looking forward to it until you said that. And then so I messaged her again yesterday, went, yeah, I got that wrong, didn't I? Because it's probably one of our best displays of the season against a half-decent side. But you were asking about what the West Ham fans did. There was an Arsenal fan in the West Ham I say end, I don't know, that stadium was such an absolute nightmare, but he was filming them, and one West Ham fan got up and walked out when Rice scored, and a few of the others clapped, and at the end of the game they were applauding him because he was applauding them. So did you see that, Craig?
Yeah. He got a very good reception. He got a very good reception, and I for one was really pleased to see that, because you can't blame him you can't blame a footballer for wanting to leave to go to better himself. Now,
unless he leaves Arsenal.
I'll go back to the Robin van Persie thing. I know there's a lot of people, despise him for what he done. Now, do I despise him for what he done? I don't despise him. I understand why he did it, because he was coming to the end of his, he was coming to the latter stages of his career, and he wanted to win something. By going to Man United, by going to Manchester United that season, he was guaranteed to win the league championship, because there was no one else that was going to touch
virtually whatever the big clubs would have had him would have done.
Yeah, there was no one going to touch Man United that year. So, I was annoyed he left Arsenal, but was I annoyed at him personally? No, I don't think I was. But it's the same as the Rice. It's the same as Declan Rice. He's led you to the European St Johnson Paint Trophy. You've lifted it. He's left. He wants to go on to bigger and better things. Just clap him. I mean, I can remember when I went to Dublin to watch Arsenal and Chelsea in the friendly competition, and I clapped Cesc Fabregas when he came over to take a corner. And fellas were getting stuck in me. What are you clapping him for? Well,
he wanted to come back, but Wenger wouldn't have him.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I don't hold that grudge against a player who, he gave us probably his best years. You look back at his career, his best years were here. Yeah. He went to Barcelona, done all right. But he gave his best career years to us. So for that, I can't boo him or shout at him or this, that, and the other. Same goes with Declan Rice. I think there's a lot of 99% of West Ham fans would probably agree with what I've just said. I know there's going to be people other people that will disagree. I've seen people calling him this and that on social media, a snake and this, that, and the other. But he's a Rolls-Royce footballer, and like Melvyn said, 100 million. We've had someone's pants down there for 100 million.
Did you know this fact about Van Persie? The most goals anyone's ever scored in the Premier League season for Arsenal is 30. And when Henry came back to Arsenal on loan from New York Red Bulls, Van Persie had the chance to score, which would have been his 31st goal of the season, but instead he squared it to Henry, and then Henry scored. So he's tied with Henry on 30 goals in a season.
Wow.
Didn't know that. Nor did I until I saw a video about it, and I've just checked it here. I thought they said that top goal scorer ever, which is 36 by Haaland and 34 by Cole and Shearer. But I think it's the way that he went around it. Declan Rice, all West Ham fans knew that Declan Rice was going to leave West Ham. He'd made it pretty clear, and he wasn't an arsehole about it, and he made sure they got the maximum amount of money. I mean, for West Ham to get £105 million for a player, weren't that long ago you could have bought West Ham for £105 million. I mean, you're not far off that valuation now. He did it the right way. And when he scored the goal, he didn't put his hands up. He didn't knee slide into the corner like Adebayor. He didn't slag the club off like some of the other players have done in the past. And maybe when his career comes to near the end of his career, he might go back to West Ham, because West Ham made him the player he is after Chelsea got rid of him. Have you got anything on that, Melvyn? I nearly said Mark there because you've got Mark at the end of it, and I'm looking at your name. If I do call you Mark, just go along with it.
No, not. I agree, really. I mean, Van Persie, what I recall, he left because he allegedly had a chat with Wenger about how the club's going forward, and Wenger couldn't give him any answers. So you can't blame him for wanting to leave the club. Secondly, we got 25 million for a player that was out of contract. That was unheard of years ago to get that type of money. He could have said, right, I'm not going to play for another season. I'll go for nothing. He didn't do that either. So there's no. It always hurts when one of your favourite players has got to go. But we wanted that money as well. We were struggling for money at that time. So for two things, he wasn't going to get any promises from where we're going to go. We needed the money. It suited Arsenal as well. It's not as if we were pleading for him to stay. Nothing like that at all. So no, I've got no problem with him going to United. And who wouldn't? He won the Premier League, and he would never have won that with us, with all due respect, as proven, if he would have stayed for another 2 or 3 seasons. No problem at all.
I'm just looking at his stats. You think Van Persie, you think injuries. His last season with Arsenal, played every Premier League game, 30 goals. First season with Man United, played every Premier League game, 26 goals. So in back-to-back 38-game seasons, 56 goals. I mean, after that, his season tailed off. He played 21 and got 12, and then they got rid of him.
But he single-handedly won United the league that year.
Yeah,
single-handedly.
Yes.
Do you know? And I can remember one of my Man United fans saying to me over here that was the Glazier's parting gift to Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, because he left that season, didn't he, after winning it?
He did.
Yeah.
Wasn't he 10 months out with us, Danny? Wasn't he injured for 10 months when he played for us? He had a long time out with us.
He was injured for 8 years.
I mean, at one point,
like a lifetime.
He was at the club for 8 years. In 2007-8, he played 15 Premier League games, scored 7 goals. And in 2009-10, he played 16 games and scored 9 goals in the Premier League. I mean, the average, I mean, in total, he scored 96 Premier League games in 194 games.
96 and 194.
Just over a goal every other game.
That's very
And in
good.
total, he got 132 in 278.
But not just the goals. His movement, his passing, his awareness, his tenacity. He was a quality player. Yeah,
he was quality. He was quality. He was.
Yeah.
But
like Melvyn said, you know, when you hear the news the first time, you're always thinking the worst. You know, leaving us and he's going to Man United and this, that, and the other. But I can understand people's frustration. I understand people getting mad, and I was cross. Do you know? I was thinking to myself, you bastard. You know, one good season you've had here, and now when we need you the most, you're off up the road, like, you know. And that's just natural. But when you actually sit back and take a deep breath, like Melvyn said there, he went into the office. They couldn't give him the formalities that he wanted. They couldn't give him any answers. They couldn't give him any guarantees. So look, you know, if that's going to happen, he's going to go, isn't he?
And he wasn't the first and he wasn't the last to leave the club, because the club had so lack of ambition. Top 4, that's all we want. And if you can carry on doing that, we're not going to go all out on anything. And then when they did decide to go all out and start buying Sanchez, and the order went Ozil one season, big signing. Sanchez the next season, big signing. The next season, the big signing was Petr Cech in goal. And then you think, right, that's it. They've given up, haven't they?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Never did anything else. Here's a good name. The Terry Mancini hair transplant. I judge people by their boat, and Van Persie had a snidey face, so find him guilty of being a tart. Anyway, feel good today. Have just been appointed as a magistrate. Those words are like straight out of Steve Lord Hillwood's mouth. That's exactly as a found guilty of being a tart.
And if he does want to sponsor the channel with hair transplants, I'm up for it.
I know Terry. I actually know Terry. I like to think he's a friend of mine. So he's such a funny guy. He's brilliant. He's absolutely
brilliant.
The
real Terry Mancini or this one?
No, this guy. He's brilliant.
Is the real Terry Mancini still around?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, hopefully. Yes.
I believe so, yeah.
Looking at the side, for those who might not have seen it, because like me, I woke up at 2 o'clock and went, I'll just download it and watch it later. Raya in goal, White at centre back, right back, Saliba and Gabriel at centre backs, Kiwior at left back. Craig, how impressed were you with him?
Very well.
Someone said on the post game show with me and Deke, we had a left back playing as a left back rather than an inverted left back.
Yeah.
Does that make much of a difference for you?
Oh, it makes a difference every time it happens. It just makes a complete difference because Zinchenko, as much as I like Zinchenko going forward, he is awful at defending. He's absolutely awful at it. Liverpool in the cup, the ball straight over the top to Mohamed Salah every time. They've done it 3 or 4 times, and he still didn't cop what was going on. I like Zinchenko. I do like him. But on the pitch, we've spoken about it before. I'm a traditionalist. If you're a left back, you play left full back, and that's it. Yeah. You are left full back. Like, as you know, I coach, and the kids that I coach, you're a left back, you're a centre back, you're a centre back, you're a right back. It doesn't mean that you go up into the middle of midfield, and I don't want to see you up in the opposing box. I don't want to see Zinchenko there either, because it leaves us short. Kiwior, to me, Sunday was absolutely brilliant again, and has been solid every time he's decked out for us. He really has been solid. And then to see, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but then to see news that people are after him, I think AC Milan are after him, and that Arsenal are willing to, listen to offers. I don't understand. I don't understand why we'd sell him. And people are saying, "Oh, he's this, that, and the other. He's not how." I see someone say the other day, "He's not a household name." That to me is the epitome of these Arteta outers and these people who seem to think that they know about football, but they just, how there's a lad there, left fullback, doing a job every time he's come on, or every time he decks out for us, every time he's come on, he's done a job. He was magnificent when he came on as a sub against Liverpool. Like, just keep him and leave him there. Just leave him there, because the back four at the moment looks as solid as I've seen it. So what? This thing of changing things that are not broken really does my head in. Just leave him there and let the geezer play.
Melvyn, Boy 10 says in the chat, Kiwior locked up Kudus. Suddenly no one is talking about the missed signing of Kudus. Oh, during the post-game show, I went, West Ham's problem was Kudus wasn't playing. And Deke went, he started the game. I didn't even notice that he'd played.
The difference is amazing, Danny. Kudus was superb against us at Upton Park. Not so much. He played well against us at the Emirates, but Upton Park, he tore us apart. We didn't have a full team, I know. But the difference between Kiwior playing left back and Zinchenko is so obvious. Go back to the Forest game the other week. We were coasting at 2-0. We were really in first gear, not even second gear. And you see their left-sided defender hit a crossfield ball diagonal. And I was thinking, we got a problem here, because Zinchenko is not going to be in that place. When the camera swung, he was looking for the ball, he was out of position, and they scored from it. He crossed it, and Saliba lost the centre forward a bit unluckily, I thought. And you don't get that with Kiwior. He's great in the air because he's tall, he's a proper defender. And yes, you're not going to get him going down the left and dinking the ball to the far post for us to score. But I prefer to keep it solid at the back, build from the back, because we've got enough players to do that job, to score and make goals. No, you just feel more confident, don't you? Because away to Liverpool last year, I'm not digging him out, because to watch Zinchenko play football is a delight. He gets the ball, he puts his body one way, the team goes over there, the other team, and he puts it over there, he spins, he does all that. But when the chips are down, when you've got to say, right, just defend now, he's not the man to do it. Against Liverpool away, we were 2-1 up, we got away with it. And I think the right back, Trent, put the ball through his legs, ran around him, and they crossed it to score to make it 2-2. And Tierney was on the bench. And only then did we bring Tierney on. I was with people, we're all screaming at the screen, bring Tierney on, just hold it now, hold that lead. And it never quite happened. And it's a shame, really, because if he could defend, what a great player he is, Zinchenko. But we can't afford it. You can't afford to give any team any goals at any time, apart from Sunday, of course. So I think to have Kiwior there is fantastic, and it just makes us so solid. That back four they're very similar players as far as their physique. They're tall, They're all very good in the air. They don't take crap from forwards. They can all put it in now. We're not frightened about anyone's going to bully us. So all that together is so good. So as you say, Craig, I don't want him to chop and change. Chop and change perhaps to rest the player now and then when we've got like 6 games in 20 days or something. You might think you can afford to do it. But if we can not afford to do it, just keep the same team. Because the defence plays better when they play together more. Look at our famous George Graham back four.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Stefan, a legacy ABW listener, says, if we can get 25 million plus for Kiwior, it'd be smart to sell. And he says, might be worth seeing how Timber comes back first, which I think is the important bit, Craig.
He makes a good point, Stefan. That is a good point. Let's see what Timber does. But at the moment, again, I'll go back to saying, don't fix what's not broken. If Timber is going to come back into the squad, let Timber earn his place back into the squad. Don't just, Timber's back. Sorry, Kiwior, he's out. I like to see a manager, and I think Mikel Arteta might be a little bit like, I would hope that when Timber comes back, he says to him, look, there's a left back position there, but at the moment, I have Kiwior there at the moment. If you can get him out, get him out. But at the moment, that's how it stays. He makes a good point about Timber. Perhaps he was, a little bit forgotten about there. But if he wants to, if Timber wants to get back into that squad, he's got to work and he's got to earn his way back into the squad. For me, very unfortunate about what happened to him, because I don't think, I think we'd have seen Timber left back a lot more, a lot more. But yes, he's fit. It's great to have another player on the bench of quality, but let him earn his place back.
We can't see what's happening in the future, Craig, but don't you think to sell Kiwior for 25 million goes against the grain? You've got to remember we've got 2 fantastic centre halves, and if one of those needs a break or gets injured, Kiwior will just fit in there beautifully. It's just made for it. Why sell? Then what you're going to do? You're scratching your head after that. We have the minute you sell him, you're going to get injured. It's one of the centre halves is going to get injured. Then you think, well, who's there? Who's going to play there? Play someone out of position. You don't have to do that with Kiwior.
Again, it's a great point, Mel. I mean, Timber can slot into central defence and leave Kiwior at left back. So
could do. Yeah.
I don't understand. I do understand why people would say, "Oh, let's sell him. Perhaps he's surplus to requirements." But he's not at the moment. He's not at the moment surplus to requirements, and has been absolutely brilliant every time he's played. So for me, I just hope Mikel Arteta can see what we can see and just doesn't, again, change something. I keep saying it. I know I keep saying it, but don't change something that's not broken.
I was looking at the transfer market page for Timber. He says he's right-footed, plays left back, right back, and centre back. What do you think, Craig, could be the possible future for Timber at Arsenal? Because you automatically think left back, which is the 2 games he played for us. But then people have got to know to be right back. But he can't be right back because we've got £50 million Benny Blanco there, who I think is doing a wonderful job. Do you think it is left back? And if it is, what do we do with Tomiyasu? And then if you look at Kiwior, he's going to go, well, I'm not playing right back or left back because they've got players ahead of me. I'm not going to get ahead of Saliba and Gabriel Megalegs. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if the player walks into Arteta's office and says, "Look, boss, what's the story? Where am I going to be?" and Mikel Arteta turns around and says, "Well, look, you've got Saliba, you've got Gabriel, we've got Tommy, we've got Ben, we've got Duran Timber coming back." If then the manager says, "I don't think you're going to feature," I think you'll be down the line of. You're going to be behind every single one of them, then the player's got a choice to make. And that's a different situation. But at the moment, he's in the team. He's in the first 11. And if he keeps playing the way he does, and if he keeps playing the way he is, then Timber has a problem trying to get back into the team. And so does Zinchenko. So it's all on the manager, really, isn't it? I mean, we can sit here and we can tell Mikel Arteta till we're blue in the face that it's Kiwior who we should be going with. And then what's going to happen then against Burnley. It'll be Zinchenko again. So it's a tough one, mate. It's a tough one. But as a fan, as of what I've seen of him, as Melvyn said, he gives me confidence. He fills me full of confidence when he's on the pitch. He fills me with more confidence than Zinchenko anyway.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we've seen that. I mean, how can a player be one of the best players for his country's defensive midfield like Zinchenko is, and then Arteta wants to see him come from left back to go and play in DM? Like I've said before, last season he did it because we didn't have a DM. This season we've got 2 DMs that can play in that position. There's no need for you to be there. Melvyn, can Jesus and Zinchenko get back in the squad? Do you think as soon as they're fit, they're back in, or do you think Arteta's going to go, no, we're on a winning run here, everything's looking good, the jigsaw is complete, they're not going to get back in?
Well, I think the first time he ever got injured, Jesus, it shocked us. We worried. It looked like we were a much weaker team. But now, that's not the case. I would rather Arteta puts him in only when he's 101% fit. Because it doesn't seem to me, every time he's played for us now, he's been fit. Every time he gets a little knock and his knee goes again. Let's give him as much rest we can afford to at the moment now. And when he's ready, bring him on as obviously a sub. Because you can't, at the moment, we've had other players doing it for us the last 4 games. We can't just put him in because his name's Jesus. He's got to, like the other players, earn it. And if the other players are doing their job, like Craig said, look, no, I don't change. You just keep it going. And if one of the games things are not quite working, bring him on then, only when he's fit. Because it seems to me we just bring him on a little bit too early. We just bring him back too early. And it's such a shame because you notice the difference though. When he's fit, he is unbelievable. He can be unplayable. You really can. And he doesn't have to play down the middle. He does some of his best work wide. And we can afford to perhaps rest Saka. Perhaps play someone else up front like Havertz and give it them playing wide. We can move it. I think our forward line is as fluid as it's been for years. We've got all these players that during the game can move across the pitch widthways. They don't have to stick on lines. I know that Saka normally does, but he's a special case. But the rest of them, they interchange with each other. The Trossards of this world, Martinelli's, cut inside, go outside, come around someone. It's lovely to see. I mean, when we're attacking teams, when we're on our game, defence is... Well, see, he's done something else, Terry. I told you, very funny.
I don't know. Someone's tickled his arsehole.
He was a fine player.
Carry on, Melvyn. I'll read it out. It's that this comment.
Read it out later. But when we're playing, we're going forward. We can be on our day very fluid, and so we continue with that. What's he put?
Terry Mancini's hair transplant. Kiwior is a fine player. I read he developed a very strong mentality when he was back in Poland and got bullied for having a short surname. Character building.
I didn't even know that was what you were laughing at.
Fuck me. Oh no, I've got tears.
So
Bullied
funny.
for having a short surname. Oh dear.
You should read some of his other stuff. Brilliant.
Is he on Twitter?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, what is
Very,
his
very
Twitter?
funny.
I'll say here.
It's changed. It's not that. He's changed it. It's not that. He's probably got number the police have got to him, I reckon. He must have changed it because he does say some things, put it that way. No, he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
I say some shit on Twitter. I only do it to wind people out. I don't make people laugh, sadly. Yeah. What else? Craig, the Havertz thing. It's like a number one. It's like Arteta has a dice with Havertz called the Havertz dice. It's big and lanky with big ears and a big nose, and it's got central midfield, defensive midfield, left 8, right 8, striker, winger on it. It just rolls it before every game, and then that's the position he's going to play in. Do you think that possibly he's found his position? Because
I think so.
He's all elbows up front, isn't he? He likes the dark arts, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does like the dark arts. And you're talking about a player who, when he was at Mönchengladbach, he was like German's generational talent at the time. And he got his move to Chelsea, and I thought he'd done well. He was in his early time at Chelsea. He's got himself a Champions League winner. And then he drops off. He comes to Arsenal, and I have to admit, when the signing was made, I was a bit 65 million on Havertz. I was like, oh my God, I don't know about this one. And then, he starts to play, and I'm looking at him, and I'm going, oh my God, this bloke absolutely offers us nothing. Where did he come from, and why we pay 65 million pounds for him? But then he starts to, what I call, operate quietly, and he starts getting involved, and he starts making some assists, and it's not just it's like Jesus, right? It's just not his striking ability. For me, Gabriel Jesus is one of the best hold up play in the league, to hold the ball up and bring other people into play. His hold up play is magnificent. And it's the same as with Havertz. Havertz can slow an attack down to bring more people into it. He can hold up the ball, he can spray it right, he can spray it left, and he's starting to have an effect. And I'm watching him against West Ham, and I'm thinking like you did. I'm thinking, geez, I'll play him up there again, because he's doing what he can do, what like Jesus can do. He can, he can hold up the play and bring in other players. He can be a decoy for Trossard. He could be a decoy for Odegaard, Saka. That's what I see him doing, and I'm very impressed. I would keep him up there against Burnley for sure. And I agree with what Melvyn said. Just don't bring Jesus back too quickly. If we go to Burnley, it's going to be another tough game at the weekend. If we go to Burnley and turn them over as easy as we turned over West Ham, now I'm not saying we're gonna, no disrespect to Burnley here or anything, but if we go up there and turn them over like we have done with West Ham, with the same formation and the same players, Arteta really has got to start thinking, I cannot change this until something goes drastically wrong. I mean, Trossard, for me, at the weekend, was probably one of his best games in an Arsenal shirt. I thought he was magnificent. Havertz was brilliant. Declan Rice was brilliant. Martin Odegaard was just like quietly world class. You don't hear him, but you don't hear the commentator's name. You don't hear the commentator saying his name, but anyone that can watch a game of football can see how effective he was at the weekend. It's just quietly world class. I love him. I love him. How anyone can wake up on Monday morning and sit in front of the camera and try and think of things to slag the man off. You're not well. You are not well. Trying to find negatives in his game after he does what he does against West Ham. He was absolute mustard. And what a player we've got on our hands. And I just cannot see or fathom how people can't see it. He is mustard. Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, Kiwior, Martinelli, Saka. It was a masterclass all over the pitch.
It was. Come to you in a minute, in a second, Melvyn. Drago says, people don't like him because he's lanky, similar to Berbatov and Ozil. Misunderstood. Drago has a very different... He sees things in football that other people don't see. And that's why I like having him. I should get you on again, Drago, because you're very good. He does. Very critical of the nonsense I come out with when you bully me. But it is good. Going back, Jimmy H says, we just bring Jesus back around Easter. Just think of the puns and taglines people could make up coming with that. And Stefan's making a good point. We need to bring money in before we can get other players. And what other one was there? Noah says what everyone's thinking. We still pay too much for him. I mean, you don't pay as much for a Chelsea player as they paid because they always overpay. And when we paid virtually the same amount of money, something's not going too good. And a new name here.
I agree with him. We did overpay for him, but it's done. So
it's not our money.
Yeah.
Move on. Donkey. I've not seen that name before. I used to be a Havertz hater because I expected a baller for £65 million, but starting to see the role he plays in the Arteta system just needs more conviction in the final third. Melvyn, it's like having a Kevin Campbell, an Alan Smith, a Frank Staple and a big number 9 and a Niall Quinn that you're not going to fuck with, and he's going to be there and he's going to set stuff up. And at times during the game, we saw Martinelli up front as the main man, as when Havertz would drop deeper a little bit, and that was making Martinelli look good. And I like to see that. It's really decent, isn't it? The position that he's finally found. Has he stumbled into that position, or was that his long-term evil plan?
I've got no idea, to be honest with you. I don't know.
I know
It's working. I don't know. I mean, it's working, so good luck. Well, however we got there, it's the end result, isn't it? He is playing better. And also, he doesn't get a lot of the plaudits because all of a sudden he gives a terrific ball, and 3 passes later we do something, and they're only talking about the last 2 passes. He wins a lot of tackles, he challenges well, he does a lot of running off the ball as well, and he gets in people's faces. He's got something about him. When he first came to the Arsenal, I thought this will either make or break Arteta. This will either define him as a manager. If he gets it this wrong, people are always going to be pointing the finger at him. And if he can get it right now, with what people have seen, this person who, for me, he couldn't even kick a ball. It took him like the effort. I was helping him kick the ball every time. He seemed to not have that energy. But now it's changed. All of a sudden, he's playing people in. He's seeing people running off and passing to him and getting him. He's part of most of our moves. He's part of now. Every week he is improving. I'd rather it that way round than he's starting like unbelievable and go downwards. With Odegaard, he is the catalyst of our team. Take him out, and our defenders wouldn't find our midfielders to find their forwards that quickly. Odegaard is the conductor. He makes it all happen. All round him, he's pushing it here, pushing it there. Sometimes he gets the ball, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? You're going to get tackled now. And all of a sudden he turns and he's got the ball. No one's near him. That's class. That's seeing things that no one else can see, especially me. I just think there's no way out. There's no way out there. Why have you gone with the ball on that side? You're left-footed. He's obviously going to come in and tackle you. And suddenly he flips. And you're thinking, how did he do that? I want to see that again. So, no, he's a catalyst. He's superb. Yes, sometimes he makes mistakes. Sometimes, if he's got a thing sometimes his shooting could be better. But, no footballer really at the moment is at 100%. Everyone's got their little faults, and that's his fault. Well, I'll live with the rest of his fault. I'll live with that fault, because he has scored some terrific goals. But sometimes the easier chances, he waits a little bit too long, and then he snatches. But I'll take that for what he brings to this side is phenomenal. Without him, we'd be a far worse side, I think.
Craig, you retweeted someone the other day who was having a go at Odegaard, didn't you? What was all that about? I didn't look into it. I just thought, what a knob.
Yeah.
What were they saying? How could anybody find fault with him?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what they were saying. I retweet so much nonsense on Twitter now. I forget where I am in life.
Yeah.
Look, it's like this. Martin Odegaard is the top, I think, in Europe. I know people will say stats, but stats don't lie. In this context, he's played the most through passes. He's played the most forward passes. He is just a phenomenal footballer. And like Melvyn said, and it was here, Boy 10 gave a brilliant comment there. Odegaard is the metronome of this team. To call him the metronome is, the team has no idea what tempo is without him. And it is just so true. And what Melvyn said there, you take the metronome out, no one can follow the beat anymore. The beat is gone, and it was going to turn to mush. So to keep him fit, to keep him in the team is a must. People, I just don't understand or where someone can sit down and say, right, I'm going to sit here now and I'm going to find a fault with this player and I'm going to put it on Twitter. What do you exactly expect to happen when 99.9% of Arsenal fans can see what a class player he is, when you're going to sit there and try and find something negative to say? You are going to get pelters because you're either doing it for one or two things. You're either doing it, one, because you're stupid and you don't understand the game of football, or you're doing it for another reason, that you have a blue tick, and the more interactions you get, the more money you get. That is what has ruined Twitter as a platform.
I block them immediately now when I see that.
Yeah.
What's your favourite colour, red or green? Block, straight, because you're just playing the game.
The blue tick brigade are now playing the Twitter game, the YouTube game, the Twitter game, where you just post absolute pony and sit back and watch the money roll in. It's as easy as that. The more pony you put on Twitter, the more money you make. And that's the only reason I can think why they do it, because there is no Arsenal fan on this earth that can actually believe themselves if they post something negative about Odegaard. You just don't believe it. You do not believe your own words, and you're doing it simply for traction.
It is. I mean, we've got ABW. We've got 35,100 followers on Twitter, and if anybody wants to go and find a load of Arsenal fans to follow, all of them, but I make sure I only follow Arsenal fans. So I think we follow 20,000, all Arsenal fans. And you can go and check them, every single one of them. Apart from the odd, we follow podcasts as well that follow us and back. But talking about the Odegaard and the games, Melvyn, I'm just looking. Our last 4 games, scored 16, conceded 2 clean sheets. I'm looking at the goal scorers of those 16 goals. Saka, 4. Gabriel, centre-back, 3. Trossard, 3. Martinelli, 3. Saliba, 1. Rice, 1. And Jesus, 1. That is... did we say it before the pod that I think we did, that what's made this happen? Is it simply just going away to Saudi, and has that made that much difference to the team? Because we've come back a new team. The 4 games before that, we lost 2-0 to Liverpool, we lost 2-1 to Fulham, we lost 2-0 to West Ham, and we drew 1-1 with Liverpool. What do you put that turnaround of form down to? Or like me, have you got no idea?
Who's that to? So me, I'll answer if you like, Dan.
Yeah, you, Melvyn.
I think we were getting stale, so going away is not a bad idea. How many of those goals have we scored from set pieces? Must be at least 4, which we didn't do before. So that's helped. They've worked on it. Recharging the batteries is the same thing, but it's just a break. It's a mental break, not just physical. It's a mental break. Get away, right? Let's start again. We're not top of the league. We were top of the league, and now we're 4 or 5 points behind. That's not a bad place, is it? It's not a bad place to be. We could be far worse than this, and we can build on this. I think it just, recharged the batteries, got them thinking in one direction, got them thinking together. Got a few things done, corners against us to corners for us. That was looking shocking before they went away. Absolutely shocking. We were letting goals in through. Every time the other team got a corner, you were shutting one of your eyes, weren't you? In all fairness, that seems to have stopped. And we're scoring goals from set pieces, so that helped. And you know what it's like. Success breeds success. Once we started on the front foot in the first game, the confidence comes back. Momentum in football is very important, and we've got it. And let's keep this momentum going. We can keep it going now. We've got Burnley on Saturday. No game is easy, shall we say? No, it's not easy, but we've got every game we play now mentally. We probably think we can get a result. The 4 games before they went away, every game, God, that's a tough one. We're probably thinking, oh my God, we've got to play them. Even at home, that's going to be a tough one. Now, it's all about confidence, momentum and confidence. And we've got it. We've got it. And all the players know what they're doing. They've got a job, and they seem to have clicked. And it's, it may be a coincidence, but I don't think it is. That break has done us so much good.
How about you, Craig? What's your thoughts on our run of form, and can we continue it?
Yeah, the run of form is great, and you want to see us continue it, and I can't see no reason why we can't continue it. It's just like Melvyn said, winning breeds confidence, and confidence, makes you winners. So, again, another tough game coming up against Burnley. It's one that I'm not getting overconfident about. I've been involved in football and watched football enough times to know that it can go. You can beat Liverpool. As I said, the Liverpool result means nothing if you don't beat West Ham, and the results going on don't mean nothing if we don't get a result. I would expect us to win. I hope we win. We're definitely good enough to be beating teams like Burnley. Again, no disrespect, but we all know what can happen in the Premier League. It's this league is so mad. Anyone can beat anyone. It doesn't matter if you're bottom playing top. Bottom can beat top. Fourth can beat eighth. Eighth can beat second. The league is. That's probably why it is one of the best leagues in the world, because it's so unpredictable. It's not like the German league where, Bayern Munich win it all the time until Harry Kane goes there. Now it looks like Mönchengladbach are going to win it. I saw a brilliant tweet actually the other day while I'm talking about Harry Kane, that he's going to join Celtic when he's 37 and Hibs are going to win the league.
Yeah, that would be good.
But
11 years in a row they've won the Bundesliga.
And then, look at that. And then Eric Dyer and Harry Kane arrive and it all goes Spursy. But
it's beautiful.
The resurgence of form, a great decision by Arteta to take them away, and make sure that they, like Melvyn said, to make sure that they have a bit of time out as well. We saw pictures of Saka on a boat having a relax, and people are, we've dropped 4 points in the league and Saka's in Dubai on the back of a boat relaxing. What do these people actually think they do? That they're going to go over there and train 24 hours a day? It's not what they went there for. They went there to get away from football. And it's worked a wonder. Someone's just pulled me up there. I'm sorry about that. It's Leverkusen, not Mönchengladbach. Sorry. My apologies. Sounds similar.
Long names. They love a long name in Germany.
Yeah. Can the form carry on? Yes, it can. Only if Arteta is not tempted to change it. He should go to Burnley on Sunday, unchanged, and see where we go.
Great message here from Seb, a French-American, Australian, I think. He did a podcast with him. He was on the Highbury squad as a guest when I called up. He says Wenger built the stadium and Arteta turned on the lights. That's
nice. That
should go on a T-shirt somewhere. You want to copyright that, Seb, before someone steals it off you. Melvyn, I heard on a podcast, can't claim it for my own, that before the trip to, and yes, Steph pointed out they went to Saudi. They didn't go to, they went to Dubai, not Saudi. Fucking hell, it's like getting Scotland, Wales, and England mixed up. Terrible. I was writing down my next two questions. Before they went away to Dubai, Rice had taken 3 corners in his career. Now he's taking all the corners. That shows how a little bit of time away, a little bit of relaxing, work on new ideas, how good that can be. Did either of you watch the, before I come back to you, Melvyn, did you watch the Bayer Leverkusen Bayern Munich game at all, or the highlights?
No.
Their first goal, it was from a corner on the far top left-hand corner. They took the corner, a short corner, and then they did something I can't remember exactly what they did, and they scored from it. And I remember thinking, that's the kind of stuff young managers come up with. They reinvent stuff. They come up with new ideas, new plans, new tactics. And Melvyn, the whole idea of getting Declan Rice to take the corner. I said I was going to call him Ben White, didn't I, before the show? I've managed to not do it. That Declan Rice taking those corners, because like somebody put in the chat that Trossard was constantly hitting the first man or going completely over. So was Saka, surprisingly. But getting him to take those corners is a stroke of genius, isn't it?
It's made all the difference. It's absolutely made all the difference. Did he take him at West Ham then, Rice? Did he? I don't know.
No idea.
But whatever it is, it works. It just absolutely makes a big difference to us. So it's great to see now teams, when they defend against us, before they don't mind giving away a corner against us, because it wasn't going nowhere. They were going to get back possession anyway. Nowadays, the back of their mind, they got to be a bit careful. And because of that, they might make even more mistakes against us. Don't relax as much. No, it's great to have something in your armoury, something extra, rather than just pumping it up and playing it back from the left to the right and all that business. No, we're scoring from all different positions, all different angles, from all different players. So if we play like that, we must be very difficult to defend against. So, all they have to do now, the clubs, to defend against us is they can not bother to mark our goalkeeper because he ain't going to score, but the rest of the team, any of them can score.
Apparently, those wise words that Seb put in there are from Gunnerblog. I can't stand Gunnerblog, so that is a shit phrase, and I don't like it. Half the stuff I do, I steal from usually AC Jimbo. Occasionally, I listen to Arsblog, but not when Gunnerblog's on it because he's a knob. Just reading through some of the other comments. Boy10 says Xavi is doing the things he wanted his managers to let him do with his teams. That's true. Oh, Noza says, yes, he did take corners at West Ham.
Oh, right.
Drago says, Declan moving like Prime Beckham recently. Fucking hell. And that's a bit of a claim. Craig, heard this other stat again from another podcast. It might have been a tweet, actually. Yeah, it was a tweet because people were saying bullshit. Gabriel has scored 15 goals in 150 career games. That's a goal every 10 games. There's Premier League strikers that haven't managed a goal every 10 games. And they said Gabriel has scored the most number of goals as a centre-back in Europe, beating the record that Vermaelen had. Now, there was no dates stated in that. So I don't know, but in general, for him to this season, I should have had the number of goals he's got this season. He has got 4 this season in 22 Premier League games. And then last season he had 3. Season before that he had 5. Not bad, is it?
It's not bad going at all. I mean, if you can have a centre half who's going to score that many goals, everyone's going to want one of them in their team. But listen, the set piece coach needs some, he needs some props here. I haven't seen our set pieces be so good for a long, long time. I mean, even that free kick that Declan Rice put in. I mean, what's a free kick? Yeah, it's just anyone, a striker. I mean, if it wasn't Gabriel that was going to header it in, Trossard was there, Havertz was there. It was on the header tree players. It was just who was going to get there first. He needs some props. I'm not too sure of his name. I should know his name, really. I'm not too sure of his name, but the corners, since they've got back from Dubai, the corners have been brilliant. The free kicks have been brilliant. Again, going away to Dubai, sit down at a table. Okay, what are we doing wrong? Let's have a look at these set pieces. Trossard can't hit past the first defender. Saka can't hit past the first defender. Right, who have we got who can strike a ball? Well, let's have a look at Declan Rice tomorrow, shall we? Let's have a look at his. Taking him out onto the pitch, told him put the ball there, Declan, put the ball there, Declan. Each time Declan puts the ball there, each time a player comes and rises like a salmon at the back post and headers it in. I think we found our corner taker, Mikhail. I think we found our corner taker. So little things like that can happen on these trips away. And look, it's working. It's working. It's there for all to see. And that stat about 15 goals. And I'll add on to it that he's probably one of the best centre-halves in the league as well.
Yes.
It's not a bad player to have, is it? It's certain. And tell me if I'm wrong. Wasn't he Mikel Arteta's first signing?
Good question.
I have got a list.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Single player that Mikel has signed, Arteta's players. You won't be surprised to hear that. I've got Google Sheets. The first player he bought was Pablo Mara and Cedric Soares on permanent deals on the 1st of July. Then it was Willian, George Lewis, Tim Akinola.
Oh, it wasn't then.
No, first team player, 4. 1st of September, and the others were 1st of July. So, yeah, you're not far out. Only it was number 4. But they're getting the first 2, I suppose. They were loans that turned into signings, so that could make him number 2 behind Willian.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not bad memory. I'd never have known that. I had no idea.
I knew he signed him. I didn't know when, because at the time it was the COVID, I believe. And I used to listen to a Arsenal podcast and used to go walking in the park. And that was just listening to these guys on a podcast. I really enjoyed it. It took my mind away that I was actually doing some exercise. And they were talking about the signing and they said the pros and cons of his. And I'll never forget. And I thought, oh, this guy sounds good. They said he was a little bit slow in turning, so I put on YouTube, watched it. He looked fantastic, but you can't always tell from YouTube how good a player is. And as I say, it just sticks in my mind. I remember walking around the pitch and they were doing we signed him. What's he like? Is he any good? Blah, blah. Is he really worth 25 million? They were going. Well, we found out, didn't we?
No, we certainly have.
Stefan, he's a legacy ABW listener, has sent me a cheeky WhatsApp, and here is it. I put in the chat a YouTube link to, those pricks that do the Techers stuff. They used to do Sky Sports, now they've got their own channel. Him showing the corners that he can take in the free kicks and the Techers that he can do. So that's in the chat. And if you liked it, you can thank me. If you don't like it, you can go and give Stefan a little bit of grief. Questions, people. We've only got 3 questions at the moment. It's been running along the bottom of your screens. You have seen it. Now, I'd like some questions because we're only going to go for another 10 or 15. You too good for another 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah,
We've got 10, 15 minutes. Melvyn?
If we don't get, when we finish the questions, can we please talk about the young kid that come on for 13, 14
We'll do that
minutes?
now while we're waiting for these lot to send us in some questions. On the what minute did he come on?
80th or something, right?
77th minute. Ethan Manwari came on for Gabriel, Martinelli, and also on the bench, because you're mentioning the kids, was Bandera and Walters. So I watched the game on fast forward and skipping and stuff like that because I was lazy, didn't get my ass out of bed. But Melvyn, how impressed were you with Manwari? Because I have not seen any of it, because by the time 5 minutes before the show started, I had 10 minutes of the game left to go. So I didn't watch the last 10 minutes of it. And did I imagine it? Did I see one of the other young men warming up? I think it might have been Bandera, but he didn't come on.
He never came on. No. He was the only youngster to come on out of the 3. He was the only one.
So what do you think about Manwari? Did you see anything?
Yes, I did see something. I saw a guy that reminded me of the darts player. You can't believe the darts player was. How old is he this year? The guy, was he 16 or 17?
Yeah,
he's not 16. He's
he reminded me of the darts player. You're having a double look and going, no, come on. Someone's got the birth certificates muddled up here. He looked, as he came on, he was so confident. And what really made it for me, that the Arsenal players were just giving him the ball. They weren't worried at all. They had confidence in him as well. Every chance they had, they gave him the ball. He got it. He moved one way, turned the other way. I mean, the first thing he did was, actually, I thought he could have got booked. The tackle he did on one of the West Ham players. I thought, bloody hell, take it easy, mate. You don't get booked your first game. But his ball control, his awareness, the way he plays with his head up. I mean, you don't know. As I say, you don't know where things are going. But if he makes any type of slight improvement in a year, we have got some player. By the time he's, say, 20, he might play for us a bit earlier, who knows? But if he just keeps that going, he is going to be a phenomenal player. His ball control, he just sees everything around him. He was doing 1-2s around the West Ham players. All right, they're a beaten team. He wasn't doing against Liverpool when we're trying to get a goal. I admit that. But at the same time, to play in the Premiership and do these little touch-offs, 1-2s, and look over his shoulder and give a bit. I just thought it was lovely. For me, that was the bonus of watching that game. I loved the game. And when I saw him come on, I thought, right, let's see this. I think he had it, but you never know. And it was the icing on the cake for me. I was so happy. And I wanted those, whatever it was, 12, 13 minutes, whatever extra time, to go slowly because I wanted him to get more and more of the ball. But he got a hell of a lot of it, though. Odegaard didn't stop giving him the ball. So that was great to see.
Craig, any thoughts on him? Because I didn't see it.
Like Melvyn said, the biggest compliment you can get, I suppose, is when he comes on and all the players are giving you the ball. That means that they trust you. They obviously. It's not only the manager that obviously can see something in him. The players can obviously see it as well because he's been training with them. He trains with them every day. Now, if the rumours are to be believed, there was Arsenal players whispering to Arteta to put him on.
Well,
apparently, if we're to believe rumours, that they were whispering, Bus, perhaps you should, perhaps it'd be a good time to put him on. But like Melvyn said, he comes onto the pitch. For me, reminded me of when I first saw Bukayo Saka. You can just tell that there's something about him. I mean, I know Mikel Arteta can pick out some nice players. There's arguments there that he's picked out some bad ones as well. But this boy looks like he's got it about him. And again, I was very relaxed straight away, just by the fact, like Melvyn mentioned, Odegaard kept giving him the ball. The first thing that Odegaard did when he come on the pitch was run over to him and give him a high five. That means that he's already part of the team. He's already part of the team, even though he's, I think, what was that, his second appearance? He's already part of that side. He trains with them. He obviously socialises with them. He's part of the team. And for a young kid to be part of a team that good is gonna, he's confident. He must be buzzing. He must be absolutely buzzing. A player of his age. To be, you see it so many times. Young players coming in, and the players are not too sure. Should I pass it to him? Should I give it to him? There was none of that. There was no hesitation on any of those players giving him the ball, because they know what he can do and they know what he's capable of. And like I said, if we're seeing that from our players, then I don't think we have anything to worry about.
Good. Let's do some questions. Why has that stopped? Stupid bloody thing. Right, here we go. Some questions. They've pulled their fingers out. They're only showing off because you're here, Craig. First question for you, Craig, from Boy10. Arteta wants to get legit from Bayern Munich, is it, or Barcelona? There's a Dutch one at each of them. I don't know. Can we see De Ligt and Kiwior as a centre-back pairing? How would that work? We've already got two.
What, in the League Cup? In the League Cup, I could, yeah. Not in the Premier League. And again, it goes back to what we were talking about. Is De Legit or legit, or however how you pronounce it?
Delit or something
Delit.
like that.
Why? I'm not too sure why Arteta would be interested in him when we've got Jurien Timber and Kiwior. Now, unless it's going to be something where he's going to sell Kiwior and bring him in, then yeah, okay. But as a centre-back pairing in the Premier League, not a chance.
No, I don't think so. I think Boy10's teasing us. Melvyn, a question to you from Boy10 again. Should Manwari be trusted with a start before the end of the season?
I hope not, because I think that we can't afford doing things that might stop us winning title. If we're putting him in, it means the title's over and we can start taking a few chances. But no, I'd love him to get more minutes. I'd love him to be brought on 15, 20 minutes before the end of certain games. And not necessarily when we're 6-0 up, obviously. But I want to slowly build with this kid. Slowly build. Don't throw him at the deep end. There's no need to at the moment. We've got plenty of players in front of him that can do the job. We don't need to take any chances with this kid. Let him be part of it. Let him grow into it. I think we'd be fine. No, I don't want to see him start. No, not really. Not unless we have a very, very, very bad, hopefully it never happens, bad injury record, and we're looking for people to put in certain positions. No, let him do it. Let us build him up, shall we? 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and let him do it that way.
Nice comment here from Mars Gunner. Great to see Craig. It's been a while. Met Mervyn at the Fox and Hounds last summer before the Barcelona game. That's nice.
It's very nice.
Patrick Carlson in Sweden has finally turned up. Excellent. Apparently, Drago says it's De Ligt. That doesn't really help. What's his first name? Dave. It's Dave from. I still don't know if it's Barcelona or Bayern Munich. And here we go, Terry Mancini. He's much more youthful looking than the darts boy Melvyn. That kid looks like he plays bingo and sneakily joined a retirement home support group to pull the birds. He's not 16. Impossible. Oh, apparently his first name is
Matthias.
Unpronounceable. Like today, if you're not in the UK, you won't know of Radio 1 and then later Radio 2 DJ Steve Wright, only 69, passed away. And he was the centre of everybody in the 80s who liked music, would listen to him. Yeah. And quite often when I see a name like this, I'd go, made up name, because that's what he would say during the show. Someone he'd read something out and go, that's a made up name. And that's why I say made up name. when a player I can't pronounce or have never heard of. Very sad that he passed away today. But the BBC shit on him. They told him and Simon Mayo to go away and they've both been at the BBC for more than 40 years. Scumbags.
Probably because they weren't nonces.
Well, there again, they'd have got rewards if they had been. Oh, Man City have scored. It's 2-1 now. They got us all excited. Right, back to this. Next question for you, Craig, from Drago. I don't believe we will do it, but do you think we're going to win the league? And you can answer this one as well after, Melvyn.
I'd like to think we will. I do lie in bed some nights thinking, planning out the week, what pubs I'd go into and how long I would stay in them for and what pints I'd be drinking and what I'd have to be saying to the wife because I haven't been coming in 2:00 in the morning every week, every day. Can we win the league? We certainly can win the league. We certainly can win it. But we have to keep winning football matches, as we all know, obviously. I think Liverpool will drop points. I think Manchester City could drop some points as well. I think we can beat Manchester City away. And I also think we can beat anyone. I back us to beat anyone at the moment, the way we're playing. Anyone. So why not? Why can't Arsenal win the league? Someone tell me why we can't. There's the challenge. People say, "Oh, we can't." Tell me why we can't, and I'll have a look. But for me, yes, I believe we can win the division.
I think a good sign to whether you can do it or not is team in first place. We've taken 4 out of 6. Team in second place, we've taken 3 out of 3 points available. The team in fourth don't really count. Villa don't really count. Man United, well, they'll probably win 10 in a row, then lose 10 in a row. And to be in 6th place with a goal difference of 0 for Man United. You look at our one, 53 goals. Liverpool only scored 55 and Man City 56. Goals conceded, we've conceded 22, Liverpool 23, Man City 25. And goal difference, we're 31, City 31, Liverpool 32, Melvyn. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, the games we've lost, apart from the Fulham one, we could have easily won, and they're against decent teams. When we lost away to Villa, I thought this is the day they were really, really on top. Villa, they were flying when we played them. I didn't think they're any good. I thought we outplayed them. We deserved at least a draw. That was when we had a funny couple of decisions against us. I know against Newcastle, we didn't produce much, but I don't think we deserve to get beaten that one, especially with the goal they scored. So really, it's only the Fulham one that sticks in my throat. The way we just let that one go after being 1-0 up. That didn't look like a team that could win anything, get in the top 4 even, let alone win the league. But now it's all about confidence. And I don't say there's a difference with saying we will win the league. You can't really say that really. Of course you can't. But can we win the league? The answer is definitely yes. We will win it? I don't know. But we can definitely win it. Definitely win it. And we haven't been in that position. Take the last couple of years out the equation. We haven't been in that position for so many years. We've been praying for 4th place for the last 10 years, really. And now we're into February. It looks like it's going to be March, and also it looks like April. We'll still be in the top 3, in with a shout. We normally by December we're hoping we have a good cup run to make our season be okay. Now it's the league. It's now the last 3 seasons. It's the league, and this season it seems like we're stronger. Listen, we are stronger. We've got Rice, who makes an enormous difference to us. He was the difference. We never got 3 points away at West Ham last year. We were 2-0 up coast, and then all of a sudden he broke our confidence. But now, we can win the league. Of course we can. We're good enough. We can play against, like Craig said, we can beat any team on our day. And our days now, the last 4 games have been our days. Let that continue, and then we can beat any team. You don't know what's going to happen with a bit of luck, with injuries, with, I hate to say it, referee's decision that sometimes goes against you or whatever. or just things. You know, you can be unlucky and lose a game sometimes. You can be. It's just like hits the post and goes out, or hits the post and go in. You can't do anything about that. But as on a level playing field, I fancy us against anyone. I really do. So yeah, we can do it. Whether we will, I don't know, but I think we definitely can.
Can't argue with that. Craig, as a member of the Goalkeepers Union, a question from Jimmy H. Overall, I was a Rambo fan, but slowly Raya has won me over since the break. Raya seems to have gone up a level and has made a difference with the quick release, putting us on the front foot on the counter. What's your thoughts about that being the next goalkeeper?
Absolutely agree with him, 110%.
Well, don't get too excited.
No, but I was the same. I was sitting back thinking, what has Ramsdale done that deserves you to go out? You know, Ramsdale probably single-handedly got us in the top 4 last year. You know, saved us, pulled off some blinding saves that, you know, got us results. Starts the season shaky, makes a bad mistake. And I'm thinking, does that really mean you need to go out and bring in another goalkeeper and just drop him? Right? Because we must forget that he was just pushing for the England spot as well. You know, he was starting to get games with England. So I'm thinking, what is this manager doing? And then he brings in Raya, and I'm not seeing anything more better than what Ramsdale was offering us. But Jimmy's right. Since he's been in the team and he's been getting his starts, he's improving every single game. And again, I think this quick distribution thing, again, has come from Dubai. I think it's something they worked on when they went away. Something that someone has said, look, this goalkeeper... I coach goalkeepers. And the new thing with goalkeepers at the moment is that I don't believe in, but it's what the gaffer wants me to do, is making a goalkeeper part of the defence. And when I say part of the defence, I mean on the pitch. We went over to Barcelona and we played against Atletico Madrid. And their goalkeeper was part of their back line. When he played the ball out, he went out with it. Left the goal open. But he was an extra player that they could get the ball to, that he could move it on. It sounds mad. It is mad. But that's what they want goalkeepers to do now. They want them to become part of the makeup. Instead of just standing in the 18-yard box doing nothing, they want them doing something. And I think Raya could be very good at that. Being, you know, you'll notice it's happening when he passes the ball out to the defender. Instead of just running back and standing in his goal, he's actually running into space to get it back. Instead of just passing the ball forward and then letting the defence progress the ball up the pitch. He's actually the one who's getting back into space to give the ball on, then to progress it up the pitch. It's all changing. It's all, there you go, the masked gunner. Goalkeepers are now the 12th man. Being a goalkeeper is not what it used to be. It's certainly not what it used to be when I was a kid or when I was playing. The goalkeeping position is probably one of the biggest, much evolved positions on the football pitch at the moment. To answer the question, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there. To answer the question, Raya, for me at the moment, is better than Aaron Ramsdale.
But Raya's 28, Ramsdale's 25, and they've got time, haven't they? They've got time to evolve. I'll answer the next question from Seb. Sell Manware or keep? Personally, I'd sell with a hefty kickback clause. Now, I can see why you've asked that, because a lot of teams are having to sell their youth players because help with FFP. But I think that FFP, the variation of FFP, which means nobody bought players in January, I think they're going to get rid of that, because the game is about money and only money. And football comes second to money. And the people who run it will know that. And the people who make the money will be pressurising them. So I don't think this will happen. But, I mean, you'd probably get 50 million for him, 60 million. I mean, that's how some teams like Liverpool really rate him, Man City really rate him. But the only team that are paying that amount of money for a child and he put him on a contract longer than now how many years old he is would be Chelsea, and he's not going there. So no, I wouldn't, and I don't think they will. Melvyn, hold on. That one is this. Do you want one about Partey or one about Patino?
Partey, please.
Jimmy H says, with the news Partey is due back soon, has the team evolved more that we don't really need him? So sit him down and just take the cash in the summer when he is fit. I mean, that's if we get cash and they don't just cancel his contract. What do you think?
If it's a big if, isn't it? If he's fully fit, you've got to play Partey. He's got to be in contention, put it that way. I love watching him. He's one of the reasons you actually go watch football to see players like him. That's if he's fit. There's no point if he's half fit and he can't quite get there and he hasn't got that bit of speed anymore to just make that tackle, keeps getting booked. He, at certain times, I just watched him and thought, we're so lucky to have a player like this in our team. It's slightly changed now because we've actually evolved without him. So there might be a slight bias on that. But when I watched him play against teams, decent teams, and him running the midfield, he was fantastic. And it's a shame we didn't see more of him playing with Rice. And if you don't play him till the end of the season, whatever you thought you're going to get for him, you're going to get half. There's no point in that. He is a quality player. If he is fit, play him when necessary, when there's a spot. Say, for example, if Jorginho can't play for a reason like at the moment, he's got a foot injury or so. But no, you just can't let him in the reserves and then try and get something for the end of the season. He's an asset. He may not be in the first 11 every week, even when he's fit, but he's an asset, and he makes again another player that makes us tick. So no, I wouldn't just if he's fit and if there's a place for him, don't try and make a place for him. But if there's a little opening for him, put him on again because he's terrific. I love watching him play.
Can't argue with that. I mean, I would argue with that, but I'm not going to. He's out. We've got a winning formation. Just leave it like that. I don't want him in the team. The final question from Boy 10 for you, Craig. Should Arteta look to integrate Patino next season, seeing as both Swansea managers this season have been raving about him, where was he last season? Was it Huddersfield? I can't remember. No, Blackpool. They loved it. They even had a chant for him, didn't they? They loved him that much. What do you think about that?
Put it this way, right? Charlie Patino, great little player. No one's going to deny that. Great footballer. Odegaard, Rice, Partey, Havertz.
Odegaard.
Who else?
ESR?
I said Odegaard.
Not Odegaard. I meant Trossard.
Trossard. Right. They can all play central midfield, or they can all play centrally. Okay. What one of those four players or those five players is he going to force out, or is he going to challenge?
Well, none.
None.
Can you? Can't have multi-million-pound players, it's seasoned internationals, and go, you're on the bench, son. Good luck.
Oh, there you go. Look, sorry, I left out Smith Rowe. I've left out Vieira. 6. Unfortunately for me, Charlie Patino is a fantastic little player. I've watched him play for Blackpool, watched him play for Swansea. Is he at the level where he can come back from Swansea and come into the Arsenal team and play in the Premier League? I don't think so, unfortunately. I think he is one of the players that we could get money for and send him on his way. I also think, what I've been reading about him, I also think he would be the kind of player to say, okay, yes, thank you, Arsenal, for bringing me through. Thank you for giving me my opportunity. I understand that I'm not good enough to be... Not good enough. That's the wrong... I'm not good. I'm not going to get into this team. I'm young. The whole world is out there for me. I can sign for Swansea. I could sign for, he's going to be a superb championship player for whoever signs him. He could be a great buy for a lower Premier League club. But at this moment in time, unfortunately, I don't see any pathway for Charlie Patino, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is. And then you're going to look at the other young players. I mean, if Manwari is a generational talent and he's managed to get the whole of 2 Premier League games in 2 seasons, and both as subs, Mark's turned up. Nearly done, Mark. Terrible. Yeah, like Boy 10 says, wrong time, right place for Patino,
Exactly,
sadly. Yeah, I think we've all agreed there that unless something drastic happens, then he isn't really going to get a chance. There's nowhere to, and if selling ESR, that could be a part of a pathway through, letting Partey go because he might cancel his contract because he never plays. Each one of these transfers is a step closer to playing semi-regularly, but he isn't going to go in and start playing regularly. You can't do that. He'll be coming in. The best he can hope for is to be a sub and coming on like Trossard does. That kind of future for him. And then
I sorry to interrupt you there, Dan. I just hope he's got good people around him because he is a good player. There's no denying that he's a good player. And like Patrick just said there, he can evolve with better players around him. He could, but I don't think. I just don't. He could evolve at Arsenal into a better player, but is he going to get out the Partey's, the Rice's, No, he's not. It's just not going to happen. So all I hope for him is that he's got good people around him. He's got a good agent. They sit him down and they say, "Look, it's not. It looks likely it's not going to happen for Arsenal. Yeah, it's not you. It's us. Yeah, it's likely it's not going to happen. We need to get you a club, and we need to get you into a first team somewhere because who knows what's going to happen to him? I could be sitting here in 5 years' time with absolute egg on my face while he's over playing for Real Madrid. Yeah. But at this time, my opinion is that there's no place for him here, unfortunately.
Sad times. Right, that's it. We're done. I'm going to bring back the gentleman's nod. Completely forgot about it. That's where we pick somebody from Twitter or somebody that we know in real life. We just want to go. Other podcasts may give them a shout out. We don't. We're classy here, apparently. I want to give them a gentleman's nod. So is there anybody you would like to give a gentleman's nod to, Craig?
Not really. Not that I haven't got any gentleman's nods. That I haven't really.
What?
Dan, I've been out of this. I've been out of podcasting for so long. I don't know who's who anymore. Do I listen to any other Arsenal podcasts? Unfortunately, I'm probably going to give you the here, but I'm going to give my gentleman's nod to Gun. Gentleman's knob? Gentleman's nod. I'm going to give my gentleman's nod to Gunner Blog for what he said about Chris Sutton.
Oh, yes, okay. I mean, I thought that was very childish and pathetic what he did, but if it made people smile.
Yes, it was childish and it was pathetic, but it was true.
Well, I like Chris Sutton, though. Chris Sutton is playing the game and the people get wound up for it. But fair enough, that's yours. Melvyn, have you got anyone you want to give a gentleman's nod to or a cheeky wave?
What, as a podcaster?
Anything. Could be your milkman.
No, I can't think of anything at the moment. Sorry, I'm just for once I'm lost for words. Sorry. Yeah. I'll do a bit of homework.
Usually when people get lost, they go, the last person who tweeted me, that was a favourite way of going and doing it. My one's going to be
there is someone that I've met and I follow on Twitter and big Arsenal supporter, and he puts a few people in their place in a special way, and it's Simon Lester. I don't know if you know him. Right. Yeah. Now, Simon Lester, I've been on a few pods years ago. I've been on a few pods. Terrific guy. Met him as well. Terrific guy. And yes, when he puts something on, I have a double take, make sure I get it right. And yet, understand that now. Yep, understand. Good. I've got a lot of time for him. As a person.
That is Simon Lester, Lester 24 on the Twitters, followed by 35 people that I follow. Likes golf, animal lover, built in Essex, but now living in Cheshire.
Up the Essex.
Watching the Arsenal since the 70s. You poor man. Bless you. And I'm going to give a little nod to my daughter, Sian, who is, I told her I'll be done by 9 o'clock. She can give me a ring because I'm trying to bribe her to come home and sort out her room, which is full of my mum and my brother's shit that I need to put on eBay and sell. So everybody wants to buy a load of shit. Go to eBay. What's my eBay account called? Let's go and have a little look. It is called Danny's _loft_of_stuff. If you want banknotes, Pokemon cards, trading cards, Xbox stuff, PlayStation stuff, all kinds of shit. DVDs. I'm above about 1,000 of those. Just get the decent ones. Go there, buy it, and actually pay me for it. And don't be a twat, because I've got 700 odd things for sale on eBay, and they're blocking up space in my room, my house. I'm not having it. Anyway, that is it. Craig, thank you very much for being on, and we will see you again hopefully in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely, mate. Been a pleasure. As Lee Judges used to say, always a pleasure, never a chore.
Excellent, and Lee would know. Melvyn, glad we could get you back on so soon after my poop-based aborted podcast from a couple of weeks ago.
No, thanks very much. I just got to say, though I was on, as I said before, I was on Craig's audio podcast all those years ago. It's a bit surreal for me being on the podcast with him. Not taking anything away from you, Danny, but
take it away. I don't deserve it.
Being on the same visual podcast as.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that, but it is what it is. People, the same old Arsenal podcast was great when it was up there, but look, I think all good things come to an end, and everyone. The one thing I'm happy about with that is that everyone that was on it have gone to bigger and better things. So that's what I'm pleased about. They've all gone to bigger and better things. So perhaps, things happen for a reason, and perhaps that's why it happened. And like I said, they've all gone on to bigger and better things. They're all doing their own thing. They're all been very successful. So good luck to them.
Boy, 10 had a question. It is a bit weird, Craig. You and me we have formed and shaped the Arsenal podcasting world, and here we are swimming down at the bottom of the pond eating duck poo
with Melvyn.
Melvyn.
You see, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. The Same Old Arsenal podcast was never. I never dreamt that the Same Old Arsenal podcast would go as, because it did go quite big. It did go quite big.
Watching at times.
And then we got to the final of that. We got to the final of the FBAs or whatever they were called, the Football Content or FC, or whatever they were called. Anyway, we got to the final of that. We didn't win, but to get into the final of a national sports podcast, I think was pretty big. The Same Old Arsenal podcast wasn't started because I wanted to be famous. You can see on YouTube or other podcasts that they think, I'm going to do what Arsenal Fan TV done, and I'm going to become famous, and I'm going to earn all this money and all this, right? To earn money on YouTube, you have to have millions of subscribers, okay? Yeah. You can earn money. Yes, you can. I earned money. Yeah, I earned money enough to take the wife and the kids out at the end of the month.
McDonald's.
For a meal. Yeah. That's what I used to do with it. Or to buy them all a new pair of football boots. Or to buy my wife a new pair of trainers. Or, this is how much money I earned from it when it was big, right? Mm-hmm. I do these podcasts because I want to talk about football. And I want to talk about football with like-minded fellas. Arsenal fans, any fan. I will go onto any podcast and talk about Arsenal, talk about football, talk about whatever. If you're going to get in, my advice to everyone, right? If you're going to start a podcast, do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because... Don't look down the end of the tunnel. Don't look at the carrot that's dangling at the end of the tunnel, because you're never going to get to it unless you have some massive slice of luck that brings millions of subscribers to your channel, right? Then once the millions of subscribers start there, that's when the pressure really starts. Because you now...
fun.
Yeah, that is when it stops being fun. Okay? My advice to any of you, do it. Start your podcast. Do it. Get StreamYard. It's so easy to use. Get your mates, record yourselves doing it, do it. But only do it if you want to do it, and only do it if you love talking about football. Because if you don't, you'll stick out like a sore thumb.
That is very true. I have a database, as I often mention, of every single Arsenal podcast I have ever found, and it is currently at 228. I'll give a little nod to the new ones. Whatever the Weather podcast with James, Dan, and Graham. The Blackstock Triangle with Alex, Sean, and Nelly. The Going Gate Great Guns with John Taylor, and the North Bank and Arsenal podcast with Holly, Steph, and Chris. That's just
out of interest. Out of interest. What number was the Gooner Talk when I started it? And what number was the Same Old Arsenal podcast when I started it?
Because I've got them by date of their first podcast. Arrange sheet A to Z. Now I've got to have to look for your one. Talk amongst yourselves. Which one am I looking for first? The Gooner
Talk. What number was that?
I'm going to have to do a Control F for this. Can find the Goo.
It will be interesting to see.
There's 4 that begin with the Gooner. The Gooner Talk was number 94, February 2021.
Wow. And the Same Old Arsenal?
That doesn't sound right, does it?
February it doesn't sound. No, 2021. No, it was well before that.
Too late. Yeah.
Oh, I think maybe Tom deleted all the old ones.
Oh, did he? What about the Same Old Arsenal?
Same Old Arsenal, the 1st of February 2017.
Wow.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
That was 32nd.
Wow.
But some
so
of
it
these
just
dates...
goes to show you can do it. You can make it. You can make a success of it, even though there was 32 before us.
But some of these I've had to go to their Spotify or iTunes and scroll back to find the first podcast. So sometimes it doesn't show the very first one.
Yeah. If anyone wants to do it, do it. Don't let anyone tell you can't, but just make sure you have fun when you're doing it. That is my number one piece of advice. Make it fun, because people will return to fellas who don't take themselves too seriously.
Indeed. And ABW was 12th, the 3rd of June, 2013.
Wow.
Great day.
First Arsenal podcast I ever listened to.
And the very first one was obviously Arseblog, because he invented it. Right, so yeah, making money, we make about 40, 50p per show, and in the last decade, I'm about 1,500 quid down from doing everything, because we don't make any money, and we constantly have our videos demonetized because arseholes come on here and say fuck and bum and piss and willy, and you shouldn't do that. It doesn't get you anywhere. Were you trying to say something there, Melvyn? I wasn't looking.
No.
Oh, okay.
I might have a twitch.
Thank you very much to everybody who was in the chat during the show. Oh, David's turned up late. Pathetic. Terrible. And thank you also to all the people on Twitter that aren't watching live but retweet the show. That really does help a lot. If you see the show's coming up or you retweet it during the show, before the show, or just interact with us. I will always go and have a look through all of the tweets. And if I'm busy, I'll give it a heart. And if I got time, then I will reply, or I forget. And the people that listen on iTunes, that listen on YouTube, that listen on Spotify and all those other places, thank you very much to all of you, because now that we've been back doing more and more shows, this is like show 9 of this month. It soon shows the difference that when you start doing more shows, people start listening more, you get more interactions. But leave a message in the messages, in the YouTube messages, because I do go and read them, and quite often I just put one there myself and I'll say woof, and that'll be it, and I'll be the only one. So there you go. Yeah, thank you to you two. Thank you to everybody for watching, and we will be back. I think. No, we're not playing Europe this week, are we? I've got all the fixtures up here. We're playing on Saturday away at Burnley, and so I will be back here Friday night to do a late night preview show, hopefully with Stan, and then a post-game show on Saturday with Deke. So thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you later.
As soon as I scored that goal, I was fucking livid. Get down, dog. Splendid business.
He nearly caught the bloody thing. What are you talking about?
So I was just eating a full quiche. Well, you don't often see them at Ibs, so when you see them in the supermarket, they need to be swagged, microwaved immediately, and get the brown sauce on and bosh, Bob's your uncle.
Never in doubt.